Recently, a flash was found in the Las Vegas shooting footage that seems to come from Suite 32-134. In this short video, we'll present a 3D reflection analysis of this flash. The flash was discovered by a viewer called S. Wheeler, and shown in his video. The flash is hard to see in real time. It's clearly seen in slow motion. Unfortunately, many of the past claims of flashes in the Las Vegas shooting videos turned out to be wrong, thus claims like this need to be considered carefully. The flash found by Mr. Wheeler lines up with Suite 32-134, within the margin of error. The sound travel discrepancy for the corresponding muzzle bang is only 0.06 seconds, within the error margin for this phone. So what is this flash? It's rather unlikely that we would see a muzzle flash of this size at this distance, so the flash is probably a reflection. It could also be an explosion, but the sound we hear is a gunshot, not an explosion. We'll thus focus on the most likely case, a reflection. One possibility is that it's a reflection of the muzzle flash itself, enlarged by breaking glass around it. The problem is that for glass to reflect the muzzle flash outwards, the breaking glass chunks would need to be arranged in a concave fashion around the muzzle, curving into the room, like the mirror in a flashlight. This is unlikely. The blast of the discharge would most likely blow the glass outwards, in a convex fashion, which would not reflect the muzzle flash toward the festival. Another possibility is that we see the reflection of the strobes of two helicopters landing at the McCarran Airport to the east. The geometry of the scene shows that it's possible. The problem with the helicopter explanation is that the windows of Mandalay Bay are slightly misaligned and warped, which is visible in the photos. Their reflections are thus slightly spread out. If one window catches a reflection of a distant light, the adjacent windows are likely to catch it too, especially if the helicopters are descending, and the cell phone is moving around. Let's illustrate this. Here's a 3D recreation of the frame with the flash. The 32-134 window is given some tiny misalignment and warping, to allow it to precisely reflect the helicopter strobe at the right time. Now let's give other windows some degree of misalignment, but not more what we've allowed for 32-134. As we vary the values randomly, we can see that in every case several windows other than 32-134 catch the strobe too. Since we don't see such flashes in other windows, it's unlikely that we see the reflection of the landing helicopter. Another source of the reflection could be the moon, which was visible during the concert. But charts show that at the time of the flash, the moon was slightly to the southwest, which means it did not shine on the eastern side of Mandalay Bay. We've now come to the most likely source of the reflection: the Mandalay Bay sign. Clearly, it's capable of creating very strong reflections, even from surfaces smaller than a window. This 3D test shows how a piece of glass would need to be oriented in space to reflect the sign towards the recording phone. The orientation looks plausible for a piece of glass shot out by gunfire. Note that this illustration does not stipulate the size or location of the glass, just the orientation. In this close-up, note how the large size of the sign makes many orientations possible, including those in between. This makes the reflection of the sign far more likely than that of a smaller, or more distant light source. The conclusion of this analysis is that so far, the most likely explanation for this flash is a reflection of this sign on a piece of glass being shot out of the 32-134 window. This makes it the only known, plausible, visual sign of Paddock's activity during the shooting. The flash tends to look different in different video viewers. In some it looks round, in others, square. It's hard to tell apart its genuine shape from optical artifacts. For those superstitious who wonder if it was full moon, not quite. The moon was what's called waxing gibbous, at 86% brightness. The two helicopters we mentioned belong to Sundance Helicopters. In 2011, a Sundance helicopter crashed in the mountains surrounding Lake Mead, killing 5 people, including a passenger who happened to also be a pilot, celebrating his wedding.